My guest this time is a good friend of ours again, Mike Hwang from the United States. Mike and I were chatting the last couple of days trying to get him in between different things. You shot this morning, right?
I shot this morning. I shot at 9 and just finished up about 30 minutes ago.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming in. I know you're hungry, and so we're only going to keep him for a few minutes. And that's one of the things about this match, which is crazy, right? Is that it's short and fast, but you still got to keep.
It's short and fast. It's 2.5 hours of shooting, sometimes less, depending on how the schedule goes. I think we shot an hour and 45 the first day. It was so fast, but that 2 hours is packed with so much adrenaline, so much intensity, way more than we're normally used to. And so the first couple days were good, and then this morning, I think a couple of us were feeling some of the adrenaline crash. You know, I woke up, I was talking to Chris Tilley and even Brody from Australia, and he was saying, like, man, we're feeling a little bit tired this morning, but at the end of the day, that's something that's you can't really control. You just get on there and lock in and do your best. And had a little bit of a slow start on my first couple stages, but then ramped up and finished on a really fast stage and did super well. So I'm really happy with how I did today as well.
And you know, that third day thing, that is actually a thing, by the way. If you remember in one of the Zoom calls when we were training everybody, getting them ready for this match a few months ago, I actually brought that up. I said by day 3, it'll sink in. You know, day 1, you're so hyped. You know, you've got the closing ceremonies that winds you up, right? We'll talk about that. And then you got day 2, you kind of wind up. But by day 3, that's when you're starting to feel it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually really glad that I have an off day tomorrow. And then I shoot at 3 p.m. the day after that. So I've got 51 hours in between shots at this match, which seems like a lot. Hopefully that break will refresh me and not do the opposite, and we'll see. So I'll have a good time tomorrow. Yeah.
What do you think of the opening ceremonies?
That was one of the things I was most looking forward to. The opening ceremony was, it's like the Olympics, right? It's the Olympics of our sport, and that was just awesome. Having those performances was great. It really pumped us up. Getting the speeches from all the guys in the sport in IPSC, and then getting the countdown as well. That was awesome. Really awesome.
And I got to give props to IPSC this year. Those speeches normally go on for like an hour.
I heard.
But this year, whoever made the decision was probably Vitale or Bellina, one of those guys, maybe Dino. But they kept the speeches super short. They were fortunately sitting out in the sun. We were in the shade, remember? So I was watching them sitting in the sun. I was like, oh, this is going to be tough on them. But they kept it short and sweet. Basically, the home country made a speech, and the others just said welcome. And Vitale opened the games, and then it was done, right? And that was good, I think.
It was. The sun was right in their eyes. I felt super bad for them. Maybe they had hour-long speeches planned, and they were like, oh, no, screw this.
We're out of here. Yeah. Mike, let's talk about the match. We've got your scores up here so far. We're going to jump back and forth because we have some video that we're running that we recorded earlier. So for those you don't know, remember we're very challenged here technically. It's been a mission going back and forth. We have 2 camera crews, sometimes 3, but one of our guys is actually editing a bunch of the footage we shot this morning, as well as some from yesterday. I believe this is from yesterday. So this is yesterday's footage. We're going to start doing it. We had some people online asking us, why are we not showing the ladies? Why are we not showing this? Remember, we're very limited. There's 30 stages out there. Some of the zones we can't get to, and we've got camera crews. The guys are working seriously hard, but it's exhausting. Have you shot this stage?
I did. I shot it yesterday.
Yeah, so this is the one you step back, you got to rack the gun, start with a they call it unloaded gun, but the mag in the gun, right?
Yes.
How did you shoot this?
I think you had to load the gun, right?
Oh, you're right. You step forward to the gun.
It's on your, on your belt.
You're quite right.
Yeah, that's Tilly. So this is our squad. Perfect. Yeah. We if I recall correctly, we all did very well on this stage. The 3 U.S. guys, me, Tilly, and June. Just crouch down there. You can take the steel, you can take the static. Slightly changes the way that the swinger presents, but really you want to get something either left to right or right to left inside the little port area, and then finish off on the very left target.
Short courses. We don't shoot a lot of them in the States. We all like this 30, 32 round courses. But they're pretty tense, aren't they?
They are. This is a slightly different one, but we shot one today that was really intense. The double bobber.
Yes.
The timing on that was
critical.
So intricate. And I was thinking, I'd like to have a backup plan. Let's watch Tilly real quick on here. Yeah. So I think the key here is 1, hit that steel. So that if you start on the steel or you end on it, you want to make sure that you call it and you're out of there as soon as possible. Double tapping that swinger. So that swinger is very double tappable. It was pretty close. It wasn't the fastest. And so that was key. Really on these short courses, man, like getting your points and not having very many makeups because they're so fast. You know, one makeup is, you know, if you have a 5-second stage, that's like 10% of your time.
Yeah. And you talked about that bobber stage this morning. We've got footage of that. We're going to roll later on, tape that we'll roll later or maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I hooked up on that. And normally those stages are not my thing. In fact, to be honest, I've lost serious points.
You got to tell yourself they are your thing. Switch that. I try to do that too.
And
yeah,
it's tough. And if you miss the timing of that bobber on the left and you have to put a third shot on, you're in serious trouble going to the right.
That's exactly what I was about to get into is yeah, so a couple of back and forths here will really add to your time.
Yeah.
But on that bobber stage, it's one of those things where I tried to come up with a backup plan. A lot of times in these timing, I say like, you know, just in case something happens here, where am I going to go? On that one, there was no backup plan. You just ate it because they come up and down so fast. You just have to get your hits.
Yeah, and they are electronic. I don't know if you realize that, but they have a constant timing to them. They can go on.
The bobbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why they were going down so fast. I was
right.
wondering what kind of mechanical device they had back there that was doing that. It was weird.
It's an electronic or a mechanical activator. That thing just goes up and down. I know on another stage they left it on by mistake overnight. And the thing ran all night.
Oh man!
When they got back next morning, it's still running at the same time. So definitely no waiting for it to slow down.
Yeah.
But the and one of the guys in our squad, I won't out him by saying who it was, missed the popper on the right, and it absolutely destroyed the stage.
That was my worst nightmare. Because then, if you miss the popper on the right, you are either going to make it up immediately and then be late to the left, and then potentially be late to the right, or you're going to leave it for the end and then you have to wait for the right to activate again. It's brutal. It was a brutal stage.
Yep. Well, he tried to go, went the wrong way, went to the wrong. He shot one shot, then it was gone already.
Yeah.
Then he went to the other one. I mean, it was. I don't remember my time on that stage. Sarah, do you remember my time offhand on that stage? It was like 8 seconds, I think, something like that. On the double bobber stage. 8 seconds, which was the best of our squad. But I think the other one was like 12 or 13. And
did you go 1 for 1 on everything on there?
I did, but full disclosure, on the right-hand bobber, just watch this for a second. This is Australia.
That guy's awesome. Heck yeah.
Very efficient.
Yeah, and I'll be right after him as well.
Yeah, let's watch for that. I shot I'd seen Frank Garcia goes before me, and he's a phenomenal shooter as well, right? And I'll be honest, I follow him pretty closely and see how he does stuff because he's got a lot of experience. And when he shot the left bobber, then of course you go from left bobber across to the right bobber, it looked like he had plenty of time. Yeah, so I went left activator, middle partial, right activator, left bobber, right bobber. So, Mike, here you are. Talk us through this.
Yeah, so I think the main thing is just to be smooth with the load. A lot of times when I try to rush the load, you mess that up. So just be smooth with it. And I really wanted to make sure, and we'll see here, I wanted to load while crouching down. I saw a couple of guys load the gun and then get down. That's a little bit of time wasted. I went static, steel, make sure you nail that steel, and then I went right to left on everything else.
So you left on the steel. Aren't you nervous to do that?
That is one of my nemesis, and I said I just have to do it. You know, I just had to do it.
Because if you miss that steal, that's toast on the stage.
Oh, I'm so glad this. Okay, I had a hand warmer. We shot at 6:30. I had a hand warmer in my magwell, and the RO told me that would have been a disaster. That would have been my match.
Yeah.
Because this is the one unloaded start. I didn't throw a mag in. I wouldn't have known until after. The RO was super nice and told me, and that's what that was right there. It's my little stretch that people make fun of me for, but it wakes me up.
That would have been a problem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I think it was pretty smooth. I think on these, you just want to make sure you get all your hits, be smooth with it, and just, you know, keep it simple.
So I've had that hand warmer thing in the past, and actually I remember somebody many years ago put one in my gun just messing around with me, one of my friends, right?
Yeah,
I won't mention him. He
Good
happens
friend.
to be a top GM shooter too, by the way. But
I'm going to guess who it is, but I won't say that.
Yeah, he was messing with me, and he put it in there. And when I got up on the stage, I realized it was there, so I was fine, right? But it does bring in the thing of like the aura pointing it out to you. it's after the make ready.
I know.
And so therefore he could make an argument he's coaching you, but it's the wrong starting position. It's the wrong start.
Yeah.
So if there's something that's interfering in the start, they can actually do that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not something I'd want to test too often, you know?
No, definitely not. And I did think of that after the fact. He didn't have to. I don't think he had to tell me about that at all. And he was nice.
And you know, these starts, I mean, again, not outing people, but Mel today, he's not. Oh, Mel is there. He could tell us about it. He's sitting right there. You know, on the left-handed stage, the RO spoke to him beforehand, and they were talking about something or whatever. I forget what it was. What distracted you on that stage, Mel? The left-handed stage, you forgot to rack it? What happened? Something distracted you. Anyway. Yeah, he was saying something to him. And you know, you got to learn, no offense to Mel, but he's an experienced shooter. You got to learn not to let those things get in your head. And Mel put his gun down, forgot to rack it. But fortunately, he realized it quick enough. So maybe a second, maybe 3/4 of a second.
Okay.
But these big matches, those little tiny things are what makes the difference.
They add up.
And can you come back from that? And I'll be honest, I'm really proud. Mel shot like crazy after that and shot really good stages. That's the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially in the U.S., we have, you know, very much looser start position requirements. And so a lot of the guys on our squad, me, Tilly, everyone, a lot of times they'll tell us to straighten our back or have a foot a certain way right before you're about to go. And you just have to, you know, do it and then mentally reset and then get right back into it. And sometimes it's challenging, but it's something you just have to do. And then just going back to those short stages, what I wanted to say was you need to somehow like give yourself the confidence to shoot those stages, especially with the timing sequences. I think you just have to nail it. I think the worst ones that I mess up on are the short ones when I'm not feeling super confident and not sure. But if you just go in there and it feels like it's slow motion, you just go and hit the steal, hit the no shoot, like on the double bobber stage. Don't rush on those no shoots because if you have a makeup, it's gonna you know mess up your whole head. And then go to the next steal. Don't miss that one. And 2 and 2. There's really plenty of time if you truly call your shots on those stages. You know, if you have a good solid plan, you got plenty of time to make those shots.
Yeah, there really is. And you know that thing of calling steal on that bobber the stage after the bobber stage, you have to step to the right, shoot one steal, and then run down range. And it's one of those steals, if you forget to shoot that steal, you're already moving out of there. It's done. Like
it's tough.
So I actually doubled the steal. And
on
I put
purpose.
2 of them dead center. And I'm like, why'd you do that? But it costs maybe 15th or something like
Probably
that.
nothing if you're really going out of there, you know.
Well, that way I was like ding ding because I had a popper earlier in the day where it was one of those long range ones that they've got in this match. They've got some of these poppers at like 30 yards.
Yeah.
You know, you shoot it and you wait to see, oh yeah, it's starting to move, and then you go. Yesterday, one of our guys had to hit the shroud around the popper, thought he heard the hit, and he took off, didn't go down.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's about how few mistakes you make. And you give up that little bit of time, but you have to, in this particular match, you've got to look at all those little tiny details.
Yeah.
On a short course, you know, in Mike on a short course, 15 points, but it's 15 out of, if it's an 8-round course, that's 40 points. 15 out of 8's a lot. You know, it's 30% of the stage, basically.
I said almost the exact same thing with those exact same numbers yesterday in an Instagram post I made. Like, I took a mic yesterday, my first mic of the match yesterday, but on a really fast, high hit factor stage. So it didn't hurt me nearly as much as it could have on a smaller, lower hit factor stage, right? So it's interesting how you have to kind of play that game that way.
Well, you have to. While we're chatting here, I'm just looking at some of the scores. We'll do some comparisons here.
Sure.
Who should we put in here? June Kim is on your
We
squad,
got June,
right?
we got June, we got Tilly right there, we got me.
And there, let's just do
those other guys that haven't shot yet, they're shooting now.
Yeah, so we have the ability to do some comparisons.
Wow. That's cool.
Mike was texting me last night. You were asking me, can you read the scores? I shot the late shift yesterday, and with broadcasting all day, being at 6:15 or whatever in the morning, I was fried by yesterday. Okay, of course, now it's not coming up on our tablet.
Yeah, I shot at 6:30. It finished at like 9, and I was refreshing every like 30 seconds for like 6 hours, and it wasn't updated.
And do you normally do that?
I like to see.
You
like to see. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. It doesn't seem to affect me when I see other people's scores. Like sometimes I just need to see if I'm on pace and how well I'm doing. So
why do you think that? So Frank Garcia, for example, doesn't want to know his scores, right?
Yeah.
And I had somebody here yesterday. One of the guys from Switzerland, Dominique. What's his last name? Doesn't matter. But Dominique, like I had to basically close my tablet, make sure he didn't see anything flash up on the tablet, you know. But for some people, like I like to study scores. I want to know what's the hit factor on that stage. obviously the top hit factor is not always a good judge because I'm not a, I'm a 85% shooter, so you got to allow that, right? But why do you think it affects some people one way and not others?
I don't know. It's just the mental, I guess. So I will say that it doesn't affect me anymore, but it used to. So here's what happened. One time in my home state, Alabama, I shot the Alabama state match. It was one of my first and second state matches ever, and I was going up against another GM who used to shoot with us a bunch, Ethan Howell at the time. And I had he shot before me, so I could see all of his scores. I had 3 stages to go, and I was down 10 points. And I said, man, I got to make up those 10 points in 3 stages. So I pushed a little bit, thinking that he had shot really good because there was no other open GM there. So I had no one else to go off. So it looked like he crushed those stages. So I got to push. So I pushed, lost another 10 points, and then lost another 10 points on the next stage. So I ended up losing 30 points. All of my friends came up to me and said, man, he didn't shoot those stages that well. If he had just shot normally, like your match mode, you would have won the whole match. I got really drunk that day. But it taught me such an important lesson. I think that one match taught me for the rest of my shooting career that it doesn't matter what the hit factor is. I try not to push too hard. I know, like Grafel, I learned his hit factor strategy and how he pushes up and down and engages and whatnot. I don't really do that as much, sometimes just a bit here and there. But for me, if I just shoot my match mode, that's the best I can shoot, possibly, even on a low hit factor stage, even on a high hit factor stage. So I don't change my shooting too much based on that. And I think that somehow that has just helped me in my shooting career just to, just do that. Yeah, I think, some people don't want to because let's say I'm shooting with Aaron, Aaron or Christian, and they go right before me, and they have a baller run, like an insane run, perfect, and then it's my turn to go next, and I see the time, and it's like 2 seconds faster than everyone else. I think some people think in their head, man, they crushed that stage, so now I have to crush that stage. Now, like, Christian is a better shooter than me, so his best is going to be better than my best. I have to hope that he makes mistakes and that I don't. So if he has a great run, I'm not going to beat him on that one by trying to go faster. Again, my match mode is my best shooting. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be shooting that speed. If I try to push too fast, I will risk mics. Whether or not I actually get them or not, I'll risk them. If I go too slow and try to over-confirm, then I'll be slow, right? I can't control how somebody else shoots. I can only control how I shoot.
So if coming up, so like you and Aaron, Area 8, I was shooting with you guys in the same squad. I was lucky to shoot with you. You guys were neck and neck through that whole match. He won something, you won something. You back and forth. You guys got to the last stage. I think it was stage 2 or 3, something like that.
Stage 2.
Basically, it came down to that stage, right?
I think we were 0.5 points away from each other on that last stage.
Yeah. And he shot first,
yep.
Right? And he had a pretty decent run. He had a little hesitation in the middle. Remember that? So do you look at that run and say, I don't remember the time, but let's just say it was a 14-second run. Do you look at that and say, well, he gave up a second over there, so I've just got to shoot 14 and I'm good? Or do you look at it and say, no, I need a push because, maybe I make a mistake, maybe I pick up a mic on a stage like that would be probably a couple of seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not going to beat, you and Aaron are shooting almost the same speed each time, right? Your times are maybe a second apart or maybe half a second. So a mic would be not enough. So do you push or do you kind of like try and match it to that, or what do you do?
No, so neither of those things. So I had no idea what his time was. All I did was I watched his run and I saw he had a couple of makeups here and there. Not anything big. I'm talking like a couple of 0.2, 0.3 second makeups here and there. And I told myself, if I shoot this stage perfectly, then I can win the match. Okay, just because, especially from the last couple of stages, we were so close that his perfect stage and my perfect stage were very close. And he had a couple of makeups. And so I didn't look at the time. I had no idea what his time was. Once I start thinking about time at all, that's when I start making mistakes.
Okay.
Or if I try to push, that's when I start making mistakes. Again, it just comes to I'm shooting my match mode. I didn't feel like I was rushing on that stage. I didn't see third person of me or whatever, but I felt very calm and controlled. I did miss my first shot on the stage. It was a popper. I missed it, but I made it up quickly, and I was able to mental reset. I didn't let that affect me, and I just was very smooth, very aggressive. And I don't think I had a single other makeup for the rest of that stage, and flowed through the middle section quite well. There were a couple of it was a 15-yard paper, and just had no other makeups, and I ended up winning by a few points.
Yeah. So this is highlights from this morning that we're watching. We're on stage 4 out there at the moment. You had a pretty good run last year and this year on the area championships. So for those of you who don't know, not shooting in the United States, area championships are a major match for us. We have 8 of them throughout the country. They technically are level 3s, but you could almost consider them a little higher than that. They wouldn't be a level 4, because level 4 would be an intercontinental. Area 5, level 5 is obviously a world shoot. But the big matches in the US, the 8 big matches, you won, I think, the last 3 or 4 of the ones last year, right?
I did. So last year I won Area 6 and Area 2, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Won those at the yep, exactly. That was a great match. Super fun. This year I shot 3 more areas so far, 5, 7, and 8. I won 7 and 8. I was just behind Christian at Area 5. It was pretty close. He just got me there. That was a super fun match as well. So I've been doing very well this year. Yeah.
It's tough shooting against Christian. He just makes it look so easy. Isn't
He makes it look so easy. That's the thing. He doesn't look like he's rushing when he has his best stages. But sometimes he pushes a little bit and hooks up, and those are just incredible to watch. Yeah.
So I'm sure this is a sensitive subject. You didn't make it onto the U.S. team, qualifying-wise. Does that motivate you?
It does a little bit. It does, and it's nobody's fault but my own. I did not shoot to the best of my ability at both of our national events last year. I think I ended up 6th or 7th in the country, so just a few off. I think if we had those national events this year, it could have been a different story. I ended up getting 3rd at IPSC, and that's just a few weeks ago. I really figured out how to shoot those national events this year. Actually, in January, that's one other match. In January, I shot the Extreme USA match and won that one in Open as well. Okay. Took a class with Eric Graffel right before that, 2-day class. It was awesome. Everyone asked me if there was any secret sauce or anything like that. No, not really. But he just told me exactly what I needed to hear was I just need more control, less frantic moving and whatnot. He took my gun after a run and said, "This is what you look like." And he kind of like mocked me or like showed me or demonstrated what I looked like. And then he said, "This is how you should be shooting this." Just so smooth, so controlled. The splits were slowed down and his transitions were, as a result, faster. And I really took that to heart. The Extreme match was right after that, and it was a very fast match, kind of like this one. But I said, I'm going to experiment and try to shoot like him. And ever since then, it's just been boom, 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 up like that. And so I think I have him to thank for that, for this one. So
Eric has really influenced the sport in a major way over the last 10, 15 years. You know, we've all shot against him. I mean, obviously he's way better than me, but you know, it doesn't matter what gun he's got. You know, production optics. He used to shoot open. He said today he's going to go back to shooting open so he can shoot against Christian.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure Chris is going to be thrilled with that.
That's awesome.
But you know, the fact is that you top guys, you can pick up anything. I mean, it's not just a gun. I'm sure you have people say, "Oh, you're good because you shoot a $10,000 open gun," but you could shoot almost any of the 9mm factory $700-800 guns out there, right?
I may be the exception. So, I shot the sport in production with a Shadow 2 for 4 months, and I said, all right, we're done with this. I bought an open gun. I bought my first gun 6 or 7 years ago. I'm pretty new to the sport, and I didn't grow up shooting guns all the time like some of the other guys, right? And so I really am in tune with the 2011 platform. I tried to shoot Captics Nationals a few years ago. Nobody knows I shot it because my score is so low. I'm so far down in the... But different platforms, it takes a little bit getting used to. I like limited optics because it's the same platform as my open gun, right?
Yeah,
so that's easier to transition to. I do want to shoot more LO after the season's over this year. So.
And of course, LO and the new IPSC division optics are very similar, so you'll be able to come and shoot in optics.
That's great.
It's going to be interesting to see whether that bet pays off. You know, there's a lot of very strong discussion about that.
Yeah.
And the US, you know, we're waiting to see what happens. Would you shoot more international matches then?
Absolutely. You mean in LO?
Yeah, if you're shooting in LO, yeah. Or in open.
I think so. Oh, yeah. So this is my first international match ever, and it's been amazing. I definitely want to do more of this. And it's so, like, that's why I love shooting the Extreme match, because people from all over the world come to that match, and I meet them, and I see them again here, and just the support is awesome. Like, you know, getting to see people from all over the world shooting, like, we all have the same common goals, common interests in this sport, and it's just so awesome to see.
Well, it's been great having you with us. We'll probably have you back again at some point. We've still got a long way to go in the match. great shooting.
Thank you.
Let's see if you can end up there in the scores amongst all the open team guys and prove that I was wrong in my selection. But no, I'm just kidding. It's not my selection. It's everybody else's. It's all point based. Just for the record, I was just kidding. I want to get emails afterwards like, oh, Leighton took.
Don't tell him about the bribe. No.
Yeah, no kidding. No, it's all points based. That's the teams were, every single one of the teams was points based. But it was up against some tough guys, you know.
Those guys are such good shooters.
Casey Subio was in 5th place, and I think you were after, or you were 1 down from Casey, so I think you were like
Tilly after him, and then me.
And then
I believe I was
right.
7th. Yeah.
Yep. So very tight crowd. I mean, everybody's phenomenal shooters. What is your expectation from this? What are you looking to at this match?
I came into the match with no expectations. It's my first World Shoot, and I think sometimes if you overpressure yourself or come in expecting a certain result, that can affect your mentality and not allow me to shoot, again, like my perfect match mode. I came in here, I wanted to have a good time. We're having an amazing time, by the way. South Africa is so incredible. Love all the animals. If you're on my Instagram, you see more animals than me, I think.
Oh, so really? What's your Instagram name?
It's just my name, Mike Hwang, no dashes, no nothing. That's
Spell your last name.
H-W-A-N-G. So the whole thing is M-I-K-E-H-W-A-N-G.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you didn't come in here expecting to be Christian?
No, I wanted to shoot my best, and of course I'm gonna go for Christian, right? He's the one to go after, and I'm still, he's gaining 20-30 points on me per day so far. So this is only day 3. We'll see how he does. I probably did give up a few points on some of the early stages today, but I'm going to shoot for the stars and go for him, and then see where that lands me. Because the last thing I want to do is, have a bit of a lead on some of the other guys after Christian.
Yeah.
And a couple of times, including IPSC Nash just a few weeks ago, I was in the same position. 50 points back on Christian, but 30 to 40 points ahead on Brian and Aaron and some of the other guys. And I think I started to play a little bit defensively. And I think that hurt me on that last day. Brian Jones caught up and ended up beating me. I don't want to do that at this match. I'm going to keep on the gas and keep going for Christian and see how that goes. See where that takes me.
And I'll just touch on this briefly. I didn't want to get into a big discussion about that, but I don't necessarily agree with what a lot of people, like you were saying earlier on, where you shoot your game no matter what. I think we adjust. Maybe you don't feel you do, but like you just said now, you started to shoot conservatively for whatever reason, and all of a sudden you ended up losing.
You got me, 100%.
If you'd known that Mike was catching up on you, if I was sitting there with the tablet in front of me saying, hey, I'm sorry, that Brian was catching up on you, if I sit here and said to you, hey, Mike, Brian is 20 points back, 15 points back, 10 points back, it has to make you shoot a bit more aggressively because you don't want to be second, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I think I shot conservatively at IPSC, but the same thing happened to me at Area 6 when I won last year, and the same thing happened to me at Area 8. Because going into the last few stages on Area 8, I think I was up 25 points on Aaron, and then he came back real quickly. And same thing, I was up 40 points on day 2 on Tilly going into the last day at Area 6. I lost that entire lead. I gave it up because I was too conservative. And in those cases, it actually woke me up, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I can't shoot. I can't coast into first place.
Yeah.
So on those last few stages at both of those matches, I still don't want to say I pushed too hard, but I definitely woke up and I said, I got to shoot aggressive, and I got to call my shots better and not try to get lazy and coast into the last few. But I also 100% agree. Like, it's got to affect us, right? At least in some way, subconsciously somehow. Right? So.
Well, it's like the football team that goes into halftime and they're getting crushed.
Yeah.
Not that you were getting crushed, but they're losing, and the coach says, "Oh, just keep doing what you're doing." Well,
no.
Why? He's going to turn around and say, "Okay, we need to do this differently or that differently or whatever."
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. But anyway, if I get my dream, you're going to have displays on each stage. They're going to tell you, "Okay, when you walk up, this is where you are," and so forth. You know, that I want to be able to do what we've got in front of us, but live. But
yeah.
Hey, listen, thanks again. Appreciate you coming by. Enjoy the rest of your time and your trip to the animals. It's pretty cool. We're all staying at the same place.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning and there's animals outside the door.
Yeah.
And we've got, what's it, Steve?
Steve.
They've named one of the, what's it, Arabi, I think it is.
Yeah.
He's super friendly. His name is Steve. You can't exactly pet him, but, you know, he's right there.
He ate off of some people's hands, though.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, but you got to be careful. He's got horns, and he's a little bit aloof. Yeah, he could just easily just like start looking around and poke you. So you gotta be careful.
Now, that would be a good Instagram video.
Ooh.
But yeah, let's not do that. Thanks again, man.
Thanks for having me on. This was awesome.
Having you on.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and then after break, we're actually coming back with Mr. Mo Osman, who's the regional director for South Africa and who's one of the people responsible for this amazing event. So stay with us. We're going to be back after a short break.